Oh, yes. My name is Da-jung Kim. And I am a fresh PhD from the Department of Industrial Design at KAIST. And I'm happy to present our research on user-agent partnership in learning and adaptive services, which was conducted during my PhD with my advisor, Youn-kyung Lim. Human-computer interactions have long been following input-output interactions where users put comments and computers provide outputs that are supposed to be delivered to users. However, we are now moving to the era of intelligent systems where humans and computers exchange data and interact with each other in a more reciprocal manner. Users may have to perform their roles in helping the systems to know about users and their world, and systems may need to be evolved over time to support users with a more personally relevant and meaningful services. In this sense, human-computer relationships in these intelligent systems are more like partners, and thus we could say that the quality of user experience would depend on how a user and a system co-perform with each other over time. However, it is still unclear how we should design intelligent systems to better co-perform with users. To fill this gap, in this study we aimed two things. First, we wanted to understand how people experience co-performing with an agent which tries to learn about the users. Also, we wanted to investigate how people want to co-perform with a learning agent over time. For this purpose, we devised a 2-month participatory design study by using a Wizard of Oz-based research prop called CoPerforming Agent. To simulate co-performing experiences, we designed the prop to have an explicit input channel for users so that users could be able to teach or provide actual information about themselves to the agent in a question and answer form. Also, to give feedback for users' teaching behaviors, the Wizard researchers changed the greeting messages that based on the information users had taught, so that users could be aware that the agent is actually alive and learning. Lastly, to help users have a partnership mindset in the first place, we designed the agent prop to communicate its immature understanding of a user in the first encounter. Also, it clearly explained that it could be improved over time by the help of the user. To simulate more genuine co-performing experiences, we conducted a pre-session with 8 participants, and we asked participants to create a fictional service that he or she actually needed in their daily lives. And they were asked to create the questions to teach, reflecting on what and how they want to teach to help the agent learn about them. With this setup, each participant taught their agent in the wild whenever they want to by answering the questions they devised in the pre-session. During this time, participants received the agent learning messages once or twice a week. And to simulate the growing knowledge of their agent, the messages were gradually improved over time, from the ones that one repeated the facts that are apparent in the collected data to the ones that show some inferences and actual suggestions made by the agent. During this 2-month deployment, we conducted participatory design sessions to investigate users' expectations and desires for the ways of co-performance. So in each session, participants were asked to revise the teaching question if they wanted. And these revised questions were updated to the prompts so that participants could resume the co-performance, and this process was iterated over time. We inquired users' thoughts, feelings, and expectations toward the co-performing agent through weekly interviews, and all the data from the study was transcribed, and we conducted thematic analysis to discover what affects users' co-performing behavior. As a result, we found 3 factors that should be carefully considered to support constructive user-agent co-performance over time. First, we found that it is important to understand users' initial mental models toward the learning agent. In our study, we found 2 different initial mental models, although all participants went through the same introduction about the agent. One half of the participants thought that the agent could be able to learn only machinery understanding of the users. Thus, they didn't expect much beyond automation of repeated tasks. However, the other half of the participants thought that their agent would be able to provide higher level support with a deeper understanding of users, just like your friend. So we call these 2 each mentor model as getting things done and companion agent mentor model respectively. What we found interesting was that this initial mentor model made differences in the quantity and the quality of information that each type of participants tried to teach. For instance, these are the visualization of how users' fictional service was evolved over time, and the color represents the information category that 2 groups of participants decided to teach from day 1 to week 8. In the case of participants with Getting Things Done mental model, they tried to teach their agent focusing on limited category of information for a short-term period to effectively make simple improvement of the service. However, in the case of participants with companion mental model, they try to teach diverse aspects of their lives, even though it might take longer time, because they thought that such kind of long-term co-performance was necessary and worthwhile to help the agent acquire deeper understanding of the users. Like this, we found users' initial mental model greatly affected users' overall attitude toward co-performance. Second, we found that it is important to enable users to confirm that their agent is learning with their help. For instance, once users were able to confirm that their inputs made some improvement in agent learning messages, they were able to realize that their inputs and their roles are very important. So such confirming experience motivated participants to provide more quality information to the agent. And this again reinforced the quality of agent's messages as well. Like this, such iterative confirming experience enabled virtual cycle of teaching and confirming experiences. And as a result, we found that these participants gradually developed a resilient partnership with the agent and built the trust to their agent by even saying that their agent are like another me who takes care of me. However, we also found the participants who didn't have confirming experience, mostly from participants with Getting Things Done mental model. These participants didn't appreciate the agent learning messages in our study because it didn't make any automations or optimization to get them things done. Also, the interpretation made by the agent sometimes made them feel reluctant to share their information. So for this reason, they were not able to confirm the value of their input, and they were not able to build a partnership like the previous participants. So as this shows, iterative confirming experiences affected users' continued willingness to co-perform and trust toward the agent. Lastly, we found that agent learning style should be changed over time to support constructive co-performance. We found 3 interesting temporal patterns about users' expectations regarding the agent learning style. In terms of the level of learning information, our participants wanted to teach the representative information about their behavior first, and then they want to move on to the occasional information. Also, in terms of the amount of learning information, they wanted to teach as much as information possible in the beginning, but later they wanted to give small but meaningful information in the later part. In terms of the forms of learning interactions, participants wanted to move from user-initiated learning, which should be a simple manner, but they wanted to move on to the agent-initiated learning, they wanted their agent to be more proactive in learning, so that they could feel that the agent have a willingness to learn from the users. The 3 factors we found suggest several implications for user-agent co-performance. First, our study suggests to support co-performance based on users' mental model toward agents, and the taxonomy we developed for users' mental model would be the starting point to think about how we support people with different mental model. And the findings of confirming experience suggest us that we may need to design a learning period before making any proactive support, so that users and system can gradually build trust and partnership over time. And finally, we may need to think about the temporal patterns for designing the contents and styles of co-performing agent interfaces, so that it can be more natural and engaging for users. To conclude, we found what we learned from our study is that designing intelligent systems that are really, truly meaningful for individual users are very challenging, and for overcoming that limitations or that challenge, this reciprocal and evolving interaction paradigm could be very helpful. So I want you to think about this co-performing mindset when you are designing intelligent systems. And finally, I want to acknowledge 3 funding bodies: Naval Labs and IITP and Center for Women in Science, Engineering, and Technology for this project. And I'm actively looking for a postdoc position right now, so if you are interested in, please come and talk to me. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jorge El Bosque from Queen Mary University of London.
Yeah.
I'm studying speech interfaces, and I'm looking into common ground.
Yeah.
So my question is, I think you mentioned that you have like two modalities of interacting in this Wizard of Oz experiment.
Sorry.
Two different ways in which the thing interacted with the person.
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned that one was more like getting things done, and the other one more like co-working to more casual.
More higher level, personalized.
More personalized, right.
Yeah.
So in this, did you observe or did you use any particular aspects of common ground in this communication, like mentioning things very specific, like to the user that was interacting with it?
What do you mean by the?
So I'm
common
imagining that
ground?
this is like the Wizard of Oz is trying to teach something to the person, right?
To the agent.
So the person is learning from an agent, which is a Wizard of
actually,
Oz?
it's from both parts.
Right.
But the teaching is from users to agent, and in the process of teaching the agent and getting the feedback from the agent, users could be able to learn about the agent ability. So these are the...
Right, so yeah, I think I understood it differently. But I was interested if there was like a common ground conversation going on.
Oh, so do you mean that the participant with different mental model have same expectations or?
Yes, maybe.
Actually, the third part, the changes in the agent learning style, both type of participants wanted such temporal patterns, because no matter what kind of regardless of the mental model they have, they kind of expected the agent to be evolved in learning aspect as well. Okay. So in that aspect, both participants had the same ground, and yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi. Thanks for the talk. Could you tell us more about the details of the study? Because it's a 2-month study. I wonder, how does the interactions happen over the 2 months? Is it a task that the participant has to do at a certain time of day, or how does it happen?
The teaching was totally up to the participants, but I think I can show you this. Actually, the teaching behavior happened during over 2 months, but every week we invited them to our lab and conducted the participatory design sessions so that they could have chance to revise the questions to teach, and then the revised question was updated to the prof again, and they resumed the teaching behavior. So it was very iterative process, and they didn't get any strict guidance for when they have to teach, how much time they have to teach. So we actually wanted to see how people engage.
I see. Yeah. Have you discovered any frequency of the teaching activity?
Yeah, actually, I could say that people with getting things to mental model taught their agents pretty lesser than the other participants, because companion mental model participants with companion and mental model were more eager to teach diverse aspects of their lives. So
I see. So in terms of, for example, is it once a day, or how specifically?
Most of the participants taught their agent once a day at the end of the day. So summarizing the day.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So my understanding of the study is that there was a one-to-one relationship, and that the relationship, if it was very practical versus very companion-driven, was less effective if it was more practical. And so maybe it was stronger, the stronger that one-to-one connection was. I was just wondering if you had looked at any elements of so within like an enterprise environment, like in a product we're building, there's a many-to-one relationship. So you have the sense of an agent, but it's servicing a team, and there will be training involved in it, and there's always going to be a sense of relationship. But I was just wondering if you'd investigate that dynamic.
So
it's the weakening of, or perhaps if you considered, not necessarily that it wouldn't be companion-like, or that there could be a strong relationship, but it's not one-to-one, it's many-to-one.
yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm not sure I understood you correctly.
Okay.
But
Could be my accent. I apologize.
no. But you.
So I was wondering if you'd considered whether it was purely based on the practical versus companion, or was the one-to-one, so one agent for one person? Or if you consider the variable of, well, if there was 5 people with a single agent, could they have developed that same relationship, even if they were trying to gain a companion-style relationship?
Well, in our study, participants were aware that they were interacting with their own agent. So they were aware that aware of the one-to-one relationship.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure I can answer that question right now. Yeah.
Okay. I'll check it out.
Yeah. Yes, please. Yeah.
Thank you. Let's thank again.